Hi, everyone. I am here again with Selden Tual, who is a solo real estate agent who has been using our TC Assist setup in Follow Up Boss. That is a transaction management system specifically built in the CRM. And we're going to be chatting with Selden today on how that has been working for him and his business. Selden, for those who missed your last session, could you share currently, do you have anyone managing your transactions, or do you do that yourself for your business?
It's a little bit of both. I've got a BA that is helping me with kind of the tasks associated. So it's maybe 70-30, 70, I do probably do 70% of the work.
So 70% you doing the tasks or 70% someone else doing the tasks?
I probably do 70%, and I'm trying to supervise the BA on the rest of the stuff until we get everything kind of figured out to where it's, you know, uh, easy and just repetitive.
Mm-hmm. Before this TC setup and Follow Up Boss, what did you use for your transaction management?
I didn't. So it was a little overwhelming because there's, a lot of cool softwares out there, and I think certain probably work better for other people for their business or the size of their business. But I liked kind of what you guys seem to offer.
What ultimately, or what initially inspired you to explore TC Assist?
Well, I was really pleased with your build out from the revamp. And, I already liked Follow Up Boss as a platform. So if I could add something to something I've already used or already use and already had a good experience with in the past versus getting an entirely new platform to learn how to use that, it seemed easier. And I think it was more cost effective.
Were there any specific platforms you were researching at the time before making the decision to sign up?
Yeah, there were a couple others. I looked at one was called I think CTE, and then what was the other big one? I'm blanking on the name.
There's one called Sisu, and there's a giant one called Open to
Sisu.
Close, or
Yeah, I had open to close. I had a trial of that, and then I had Sisu. And both just seemed complicated.
hmm. And before TC Assist, were you using a platform, or was it more like pen paper or just email communication with your VA to manage transactions?
Yeah, it was pen to paper and setting reminders in my phone, and which has its. I mean, it works a little bit, but it's nice to again. I want to try and remove myself kind of from the tedious, repetitive task that some of this kind of entails.
How was the setup process like for the TC Assist and Follow Boss?
It was good. I mean, it didn't take very long, and I think the onboarding was pretty smooth because once you kind of figure out how it works, you're like, oh, this is way easier than trying to learn one of the other platforms I was looking at.
And can you share what the TC setup looks like in Follow Boss? What will or what do your current workflows look like now for managing transactions?
So I've got a long list of tasks that once we go under contract with the buyer, and then I've got once we have a listing agreement executed, and then once the listing goes under contract. So each one has a different set of tasks, which we'll go through and check off as we kind of go further down the transaction. And I've added a few of my own to make it super customized, which is what I really like, that it's super customizable, but also still pretty simple. So and it's got like you know, it's automated, but it's still got a human touch on it. So I don't, nothing goes out without my final okay. So, which is good.
Yeah, it's quite different from the CRM revamp. The CRM revamp is a lot more automated to supplement your follow-up, but the TC build is quite different in that it requires either you or your transaction manager to approve the message because every transaction is so different. And we knew that this build will require a different approach because things can move so quickly and timelines can change or transactions can fall through so quickly. You don't want anything automated to send if something falls through and the deal falls through. You had mentioned right now you do 70% of the tasks. Do you have plans to eventually transition away and do less and less of that 70%?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to really just oversee it because I think that once you get in the flow of kind of how these works, especially trying to train a VA on how to do it, I can kind of remove myself.
Whenever, besides the tasks that you receive, are you using anything else in Follow Up Boss, such as Smart Lists or the deals sections to manage your pipelines?
Yeah, I use the deals and the smart list. So I think the deals makes it easy because then you kind of have uh, I mean, it's right in front of you, everything, whether it's, under contract or I've got kind of like a pipeline with people that I have coming up. So you can really get, because maybe the old school way was to write it on a whiteboard is how people do it, but I like it on it through that to where it's, again, if I can have as few systems as possible, I think that's kind of ideal for me.
And how has the communication changed, if at all, with your VA? Are you able to see when the VA completes things in Follow Up Boss, or how are you communicating with your virtual assistant now?
Yeah, we have like a way that she's completing the tasks and then I go through and okay it. And I think once we get through more transactions again, it won't really be necessary. I just, again, want to make sure that everything is done correctly before I just hand that entire part off to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. I know that you're still quite early with the TC setup, but at this point, has it helped relieve some time that you were spending, or have you saved any time as of yet with this build?
I think so a little bit. What I was impressed with was how just like not automated, but just templated all these emails are, and it saves me time to explain stuff to the buyer, the seller that's already pre-written out. So yeah, I mean it does save me time, and I think the further I get into using it, I think it's even going to save more time, which is why I got it first place.
Yeah, you can often find yourself typing the same thing over and over again to clients, and so having easy access to those templates hopefully will save you some time. What would you say to someone who's a bit hesitant to transition their current transaction management over to Follow Boss, whether they're managing it with pen and paper like you were doing, or if they're paying for like another platform? Uh, what advice would you share with someone?
I mean, at least for me, I never used a transaction management software before. And the other two that I really, because I was going to go with another one. And then I think you guys rolled out the initial build out like right before I was about to choose. And I'm glad because I mean, you take a little bit of a chance. I didn't want to lose time and money learning how to use one platform and going with something else. But again, I think that I felt because I already had experience with you guys and with Follow Up Boss, it just made sense to further add on to that versus just complicate my life. So, um, I felt confident with you guys because again, I think that your customer support and training is like really, really, really good. Um, and I didn't feel that way with the other two. I just felt like, I don't know, you guys just cared more. So,
Mhm.
which is nice because I'm in the same industry trying to treat my clients the same way. So I kind of picked up on that, and that's kind of what made me want to go with you guys.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you noticing that and for sharing that. Well, I won't take any more of your time. I really appreciate you sharing your experience so far with TC Assist, and I look forward to hearing your more about your growth and your progress. And hopefully someday soon, maybe in 2025, I hope to see that you've been able to fully offload all of the transaction management, and you just have a power team behind you, fully managing that automatically for you.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Take care. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.